I'm going to have to stay in this. And I think that's why he was running. I think that's why he ran. Not because he didn't want to die, because he didn't want to fight. Have you ever been at a point where you're like, I don't even care anymore how this turns out. I just want it to be over. I'm not even worried about this working anymore. I just want to finish. That's where Elijah was. So what I want to do in the remainder of our time together, with that setup, now that we've established the context that strong people struggle and that weakness is not found in your struggle, but weakness is found when you resign from your struggle, and that often we don't run for our lives because we're not threatened by the fact that our lives might end, although we carry that fear with us all the time, but it's in living our lives that we need real faith to trust God faithfully. Now that we've established the fact that Elijah was a man just like us, and he was a person just like you, who faced a fear so great that he sat under a tree and wrote a suicide note after the greatest revival in the history of Israel. Now that we've established that, see, Bishop had y'all shouting. I'm kind of a depressing preacher. I kind of come in and bring the mood down a little bit so there can be seats for everybody the next night. By the way, you got to come hear Judah Smith. I'm telling you, tomorrow night, Judah Smith. No, I'm serious, man. Go ahead and leave now if you want to in the middle of my message, if it'll help you get back for tomorrow night, get a good night's sleep. Because that dude, you can bet a couple of things. He's going to exalt Jesus. He's a great Jesus exalted. He's going to wear shirts and pants that are so tight, you will know he got them from his wife's closet. That's number 2. And he's hilarious. He's so funny. Wait till you see him. You'll love him. Tell him I said hello. Now, that context established, what I just said, there are 3 things that I believe God wants to say to us. And I think you might need this message now, or you may need to put it somewhere where you can get to it real quick when the revival's over. Or you may need to put it somewhere for about a year from now, because we all hit a point at some point where we declare, like Elijah declares in this passage, "It is enough, Lord." And in the rest of this passage, you're going to see 3 things that God does to confront Elijah's fear, to fill him with the faith to take the next step. God does not require you to have the faith to finish what he started, just enough faith to take the next step. I want to show you tonight how God doesn't need me to completely understand everything he's doing. He just needs me to fully obey everything he's speaking. What I just said was way better than the applause I received for saying it. You're going to try that again. It's the bishop. He wrung it out dry. There is no more. They can't cheer anymore. I see you. Now watch this. 3 things. 3-point sermon. This will be real Baptist for you. 3-point sermon. 3 things God wants to say to all of you who may be facing a fear and insecurity, a setback, or a struggle that has worn you out. And you may be sitting next to your struggle. You may be driving into your struggle tomorrow morning. You may be visiting your struggle in a couple of weeks. I don't know what it is. That's not my job. But I want to give you 3 instructions from the Lord for all of you who are locked in a cycle of fear. Because God starts awakening stuff in you in an atmosphere like this, starts calling you, starts speaking to you, starts descending in glory and meeting with you, encountering you, personalizing his will, crystallizing things for you, starts giving impressions and ideas and concepts to you. It's a powerful thing, but you're going to find yourself in the struggle at some point running away from, Elijah ran away from his ministry post when he should have been standing strong and seeing God's salvation. And so there are 3 things God wants to say to you, and the first one, you're going to love the first one. The first one is this: get up and eat. Let me show you. It's in the Bible, I promise. This is going to be your favorite verse. You're going to memorize this sucker. Watch this. Verse 5, part B. Elijah wants to die, writes a suicide note, flips over his Nirvana Nevermind cassette tape. 1992, deal with it. All at once, verse 5, part B, an angel touched him and said, read it, get up and eat. It's in the Bible. Let's read in the Bible. And he looked around, and there by his head was a cake of Ezekiel bread, baked over hot coals. I love this. It's God bakes him some bread. God, will you kill me? No. As a matter of fact, I'm going to feed you baked bread, not fried, because that would contribute to an earlier death. I'm going to feed you healthy food. I'll give you some gluten-free bread. How about that? I love God. God's full of mercy. God is so good. Watch this. He looked around. There by his head was a cake of bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank and lay down again, just like a man. Then the angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. And so he got up and ate and drank. And strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God, and there he went into a cave and spent the night. Get up and eat. Isn't it just like God? That even when you're running in the wrong direction, he'll somehow sustain you for your journey. I wouldn't do that if I were God. If I were God, I would punch a hole in your gas tank. You wouldn't get anywhere if you were running from me. I certainly wouldn't feed you. And I know I would not deliver it right by your head. You know, I might let something fly by you or pass by you and you can kill it yourself. But I'm not going to cook for you and bring it to you. But God is so gracious. How many can testify that there have been times where you were actually running in the opposite direction of where God was calling you to, but still he fed you with brand new mercies with every rising of the sun. He didn't starve you, but he fed you with his love that is better than life. If you know what I'm talking about, make some noise. Touch your neighbor, say, eat something. After the weekend. I felt so bad doing this sermon at this time in your church's life. But I want to use it as an analogy while you're hungry so you'll get it. Then you'll never forget. The night that preacher told you to eat something. Speaking of my wife, who is hopefully still tuned in online, she's such a wonderful woman. She provides for me. She cares for me. Sometimes she does it even to a degree that's too much because she's just really concerned, you know. Holly, I have a headache. What kind of headache? The kind that hurts. The kind where your head hurts. It's in my head. It's like behind the eyes or in the, I don't know, my head hurts. But she means well. When she goes out of town, she will invariably stock the fridge with all kinds of meals for me. And before she leaves, she'll walk me through everything, and here's what I made for you, and you know, here's some roasted chicken and some potatoes and here's some broccoli and some asparagus and some carrot juice. Am I better? You can relate to that? Okay. Stuff like that. But something in me, I don't know why, when she leaves town, I just go straight into like college student mode where all I eat is what's the easiest, most available thing. I know it's already made for me, but there's something about her leaving that makes me go straight to, you know, ramen noodles and teriyaki beef jerky, and there's something about it. I don't know why. I'll eat some peanuts, and I will subsist off of the lowest common denominator of food in the house. And here she'd made all this stuff for me. And a few times ago that she left, she called because she knows I do this, and she'll say, "What'd you eat for dinner tonight?" She knows. I'm like, beef jerky, ramen noodles, whatever. It may be cashews, getting real fancy, eating fancy. And so she said this last time. She said, "Babe, all that food I cooked for you, and you ate beef jerky, and, you know, sorry." She said a line I'll never forget. She goes, "You know, I can cook for you. I can put the food in the refrigerator and show you where it is, but I can't make you eat.